welcome back. Episode 184 of Chaotically Intolerant. We have John Siebels. We might have Josh as well, joining from the Four Downs podcast over on the Spring Hill Sports card, but Sports Network. I think that's a much better way to do it because you're covering more than just sports cards. You can go check them out. They do roughly 20 minutes, more like 25 minutes per episode. Real short, quick hitters. Right before your NFL Sunday, so we can just go right into it, get you all prepared. Make sure to go check them out at Spring Hill Sports Cards on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky now. That's a brand new thing.
Started today, yeah.
Yeah, just started. We might be hopping over there, but we're going to give a little bit of a let them experiment a little bit and see what's going on over there. But make sure to comment,
we'll
subscribe.
Run some intel.
Yeah, run some intel. But make sure to like, comment, subscribe on all of it, and let's go. All right, so Bengals-Ravens, possibly Thursday night game of the, ever. Best Thursday night game ever. Definitely of this year. I think last week we had a pretty good one, too. I actually can't remember. My football memory can't go back that far. We're in week 10, where it's sad. We're like halfway through already. But let's talk Bengals-Ravens. Joe Burrow, 428 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jamar Chase with 3 of those, 264 of those 428 yards, and they get the loss. Who the hell would have thought? And a perfect little comparison to Sunday Night Football, Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions and winning. So, Bengals, it kind of felt like a must win. You want to get at least 10 wins, going into the playoffs. You need at least 10 wins. You're at 4-6, or they can only lose 1 now. But I think this was one of the ones that they could afford to lose. This was the one on the schedule saying, I don't know, but what do you think?
I would have liked to see them take 1 from the Ravens just to prove that they are in that upper echelon of teams in the AFC. So they lost the Chiefs. They lost the Ravens twice. You have to show that you can beat one of those teams. If you just cannot beat the Ravens on your absolute best day offensively, you're not a true contender anyway. And they tried defensively. They ran a little less blitz. They ran a little more zone, as opposed to the first time they played where they tried to blitz a lot. They play a lot of man. They tried to double Jamar Chase. Nothing worked the first time. Nothing worked this time. What a waste of a career day for both those guys. And I don't know where they go from here. Like, that is absolutely a momentum killer. I would like to hear the inside of that locker room this week. Who do you blame at that point? Is it the coaching? Is it just the defense in general? Is it a lack of talent? I don't know. I'd like to hear your take on that. Where do you think that came from?
Well, sometimes, and this is actually I think this is pretty rarely said on the radio. There's always like a finger we got a point, right? Like, oh, it's this guy. Oh, it's the defense. Oh, it's this lineman. Oh, it's the head coach. There's obvious holes in the Bengals defense. That's been kind of the theme for, the entire year. You lose to the Commanders, you give up 38, give up 26 to the Chiefs offense, which again, the Chiefs offense, we love the Chiefs. You love the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are still the best team in football because they haven't lost, but their offense is not very good, and you gave up 26 to them. Gave up 16 to the Pats offense. Gave up 24, to the Panthers. So there's holes there, but I don't think there's a finger to point here. I think sometimes you run into a really, 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 really good team and a really good player, and the Ravens were just really, really good, and Lamar is just really, really good. He made all the right plays. I was watching the game, playing in my my home game that I play in, poker game, and I said when the Ravens went down, I was like, Lamar just can't come back. He can't do it. They haven't shown that they can come back down late, especially in those 2-3 minute drives you want to see from him late in the games to win. And of course, immediately, like a snap of a finger, they started coming back. I think this was a big statement for them. I don't really think this was an indictment on the Bengals. There was a lot this early season or earlier in the year that you could indict on the Bengals, but this was not one of them. They've played incredibly competitive in two really difficult games against the Ravens. They've lost 41-38 and 35-34. So I think this is just more of the Ravens are really, really fucking good. But now the Bengals, you got the Chargers in LA next week. That's your season right there. I think that's going to be your season. That's must win. And then you have the Steelers at home, which they have struggled at home to start the year. Their first home win was against the Raiders just last week. So, I mean, are we going to see the Bengals in the playoffs? I'm going to say yes. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to sneak in late, and they're going to make it a fight in the playoffs for whoever they play.
I mean, they'd have to go in with 9 wins. They'd have to go in at 9-8. And where the AFC playoff picture is kind of shaping up, I don't know if 9-8 is going to do it, because you're going to have the Steelers could win 10 games. What about they're going to finish third in their division.
Here's how things shake out right now. You got KC at 9-0. You got Buffalo at 8-2. Pittsburgh at 7-2. I don't think that can last. I think the Steelers are for real. I don't think they're going to be undefeated with Russ as a starting quarterback. Now, I don't know.
They've got a 5-game pad on that record.
I'm not even worried about the division here. Baltimore at 7-3. That at 5. Houston 6-4. Who cares? They're going to win that division. Chargers sitting at 6-3. You have the Denver Broncos at 5-5. I think that 7 spot is the big, this is your spot right here. Denver's not going to maintain that 5-5. They still have some really tough games left, and they struggled against Baltimore. Now, again, that offense, I think, for the Chiefs kind of made Denver look a little better because Denver's defense is really good. But, again, they didn't have to score that many points to be in that game. Indianapolis, 4-6. I'm going to say right now that's not sticking. Anthony Richardson did get the go-ahead now this week. I don't know what the hell's going on in that facility, but it's not sticking at 4-6. They're going to drop. After that, you got Miami, 3-6. You got New York, 3-7. New England, 3-7. The Browns, 2-7. I mean, you're getting worse. This is a weak AFC. I think 9 wins can get in there.
If somebody from that group is going to make a push, it's obviously going to be the Bengals or the Dolphins. If the Dolphins can stay healthy, they have the firepower to make a push in the AFC. Yeah. And that division they're in, it's not that strong. They got the Patriots and the Jets, and I still hear people saying the Jets can make the playoffs. I don't believe that for a second.
Come on.
Tell that to us,
Jets
CBS
fans?
Sports, and
they got a Jets bias.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But I wouldn't count Miami out of a 4-game winning streak at any point. They have the weapons over there. Their defense are getting Jalen Ramsey's back. They're getting some reinforcements.
Yeah, I don't know if Ramsey is. Yeah, now a full year removed. I don't see anything on his injury update. Okay. But Miami, where there's a schedule. They got the Raiders this weekend, which I think is fair to say is probably an automatic win, right? I think we're at that point
close
with
to
the
an
Raiders.
Auto win, yeah.
Close to an auto win. You got New England, not even close to an auto win, in my opinion. I think they're going to hang around.
I'd call it a probable win.
I think they're going to hang around. They've shown a lot of life, in my opinion. The defense has been okay. Drake May has shown up. They put it on Caleb Williams and the Bears. They got at the Packers. I think Green Bay would win that one. The Jets, divisional matchups are never easy. The Texans in Houston. You got the 49ers in San Francisco late in the year. San Francisco is always better late. You got the Browns in Cleveland. And again, we gotta remember they melt, right? This is the Dolphin way. They melt going in, or they freeze up. They freeze up going into December and January. So I don't really think we're going to see a very strong team against the Browns and the Jets in the final week of the year. So Miami, I don't know. They're going to have to run the table, and they're going to have to not be the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, unless they play the Patriots in the last game of the season with Tom Brady. Yeah, and then they always win that one.
That's true. They do always win that one. Let's move to Sunday. the Germany game. So I think Roger Goodell said we're going to have like 8 international games next year, which is disgusting, gross. Get that shit out of here. But let's talk about this gross yet quite entertaining game. Giants Panthers. Bryce Young is on the first 2-game win streak of his NFL career. I'm going to say it. Bryce Young might not be done. He's not done. I thought it was too early to say he was completely cooked. His career was cooked. That's just too early. He looked very comfortable. He looked like he was making a lot better. He was just making a lot of better decisions. Did we see an interception from him? I don't think we saw an interception from him. No interceptions. I mean, he had an 86.4 rating on ESPN. Listen, that's what you want from a rookie quarterback who was just or a second-year quarterback who was just benched. I think it's a little encouraging. I think this was a feel-good win for the Panthers, in my opinion. And the Giants, I mean, they're just bad. The Giants are so bad. Daniel Jones, so bad. I think the Giants saw Eli Manning and Daniel Jones when they drafted him, and they got the bad Eli Manning.
I didn't see when he came out, coming out of Duke, and they drafted him, 7th overall?
I think it was higher than that.
Oh, man. Whatever it was, I just put my freaking head in my hands. Like,
whatever it was too high.
Yeah, but what
Sixth.
he was is okay. 6th. He was a big guy, big dude with a average arm, and they said he's mobile. That was the big thing on him. He's super mobile for his size. I mean, I guess he's mobile, but so is everybody else in the NFL these days. I mean, how many stand still in the pocket QBs are there left? So, like, mobility, I don't see as a major thing anymore. Everybody in the modern NFL should be mobile, should be able to extend plays. Daniel Jones is just a joke, and it's sad. Well, not sad. I don't care about the Giants, so I mean, sad for them. I don't think better for me, better for us.
That's better. Yeah, it's better for everyone else in the league. I'm just trying to look at if they would have missed on anyone. I don't think they really missed on another quarterback.
He was taken right after him.
I don't even think there was a first round quarterback taken after him. Dwayne Haskins. I'm sorry, RIP. Dwayne Haskins, number 15. But after that, yeah, nothing. Really.
But then Hawkinson was drafted 8th. Josh Jacobs and Miles Sanders, Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf. I mean, there are
plenty of other weapons out there.
Jeffrey
Dawson
Simmons,
Knox.
Yeah. I mean, these teams, they seem to think like if you need a quarterback, you got to draft a quarterback this year. If the quarterback class sucks, take the best offensive lineman available. Take an edge rusher. Go sign Gardner Minshew for a year. Who cares? Like, go sign any quarterback for a year. If the quarterback class is not there, don't take the best guy available. I mean, take the best player available, not the best quarterback you can get. I've never understood that concept of just, it's got to be this year. We got to draft our franchise guy this year.
It felt a little bit like a punt. A punt of a pick. I think Giants fans knew that too. Of like, okay, well, if he's here, we need a new quarterback. Might as well draft him. I wonder what the free agent class was.
2019
QB class, not the draft class.
Nick Foles.
There we go.
Yeah. I'd rather have Nick Foles for a year.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. I would take Ryan Fitzpatrick for a year.
The GOAT of the GOAT 1-year signing.
The boat, Blake Bortles. I'd take the boat, Blake Bortles.
Even though he did take the Jaguars to the you know what's hilarious? You know what the next year was? The Joe Burrow draft.
Yep, 2020. Yep.
Could have just tanked. For Joe.
Well, I think I said that about the Colts. Retrospectively, I was like, we could have just not tried the Jacoby Brissett thing, drafted Joe. He was literally perfect for Indianapolis. Like, he literally is like, it felt like Peyton Manning. It was like, okay, we can take this like Peyton Manning carbon copy over here in Joe Burrow. Just the quiet, very like, he's like the sheriff. Literally, like, he's very commanding. But, we tried I didn't blame the Colts for trying that because that was such an impossible situation. Especially that team was win now. I mean, that team went to the playoffs, lost to the Chiefs in the divisional round, but still. But yeah, poor Giants. They are in a horrible position. Let's go Pats Bears for the next game. Yeah, this is rock bottom for this Bears team right now. But it's also year one. Like, I still am not going to overreact. I'm not going to say Caleb is cooked because it's year one. Like, and the Bears still have a horrible offensive line. They just fired their offensive coordinator after that performance, which was a piss poor performance. If you want to know what happened, go check out our page. You can watch the recap on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or Threads. I don't really have much on this game. What I suspected was at the beginning of the year, the Pats have a really good defense. They need some weapons and a competent quarterback. They are starting to get the looks of a competent quarterback, but I still think they need the wide receiver weapons for him.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb Williams went from 3 consecutive weeks of 100 or more QBR to 3 straight weeks in the 60s. No interceptions, no touchdowns. I mean, it's got to be frustrating. They throw you out there year one. They aren't protecting you. The weapons aren't awful, but they're not there. However, if you are the Bears, there's absolutely something to build on here. Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. He's going to be a good quarterback. I mean, overall on the season, 17 or almost 1,800 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and 81 QBR. That's not a bad rookie year by any means.
You know what he didn't do on Sunday, which is something that a lot of rookies would do, especially later in the game when you're really frustrated. He didn't turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. That's a big silver lining there. He protected the football even when things were like, oh my God, we've scored 3 points. We scored on what drive did they score on? They scored like in the middle of the first half. They scored, and then they didn't do anything else. And he still protected the football. Now, it wasn't pretty. He was missing a lot. He did not look good. But there is a silver lining here, and it's still, what are we at, game 9 for him? Like, this is game 9. We're not going to define a career by game 9, game 10. We're not going to define a career by 2 seasons. You're going to define a career by, probably his full rookie contract that he's going to get to play this out. And I think if you look over everything, he's been perfectly fine. They're 4-5. I would be perfectly fine as a Bears fan.
Yeah. We were spoiled by the CJ Stroud year, and it's just years like that. It happens every 4 or 5 years. You have a rookie QB coming in, light the world on fire, and then everybody wants that. Yeah. But you look at the best QBs over the last 2 decades: Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Carson Palmer, all came in. As high draft picks outside of Brady, and just learned for a little bit. Kind of took some time to take it and had a decent mentor. The NFL has to get back to that. Not that I care. My QB situation is fine. However, as a fan of football, we got the best quarterback ever. You see so many guys come in, and you're like, if they had just had a little bit of time, Bryce Young, they just had a little bit of time to develop, where would they be now? Yeah. It doesn't happen the way it happened for CJ Stroud, who, by the way, also had a lot of weapons his first year already. That offense had Nico Collins. You already had Tank Dell. You had a place for him to go with the ball. Line is okay. It's a competent offensive line he was playing behind. Most QBs don't have that kind of freedom. But
who would have thought surrounding a young quarterback with really good players makes them better?
I would have never thought.
It's a novel idea. It's a novel idea, John.
I know. But look at the situation Mahomes walked into. One of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Demarcus Robinson, Andy Reid. It was they built that first, then just put the guy in place and let him cook.
That's why I would love to talk to a GM and tell them my idea of just drafting offensive and defensive linemen. Like in your first year, if you're tearing it down, draft them all in that draft class. Take every single one of them, okay? Then You find your guys that work that year, you stick them there, all right? Then the next draft, you still build out. You finish it, you draft the rest, and then you take some skill players. You want to build from the trenches and out. I don't understand why we're not trying that. I think it's a win. This league is win now. It's not just every team or certain teams are in win now situations. Every team is in a win now situation. Every coach feels the pressure to win now. And that would be a perfect lead into the Indianapolis Colts. Joe Flacco. He's looking a little sleepy out there. He's looking a little like Sleepy Joe. Just not good. But I'm not going to talk about Joe Flacco and his performance. I'm going to talk about the play calling from Shane Steichen. I'm going to talk about the fact that Jonathan Taylor ran for over 100 yards in the first half, and I think he had 7 touches in the second half. This game was close, like almost through the entire thing until about probably early in the fourth quarter. This was a very close football game. It was a 1-score game until, we went for it on downs with 2:45 left in the third. So right before the fourth quarter, we could have kicked a field goal and go down by 4. Instead, on 4th and 2, Shane Steichen said, we're going to throw it with Joe Flacco. He took a sack for 10 yards. He took a sack for 10 yards, and Buffalo went down, kicked a field goal, went up by 10. That made the game feel almost out of reach at that point because our offense was already not moving the football. Instead of just taking the points when they're there, I don't understand why. It's like Moneyball. I know you hate Moneyball, but there's a great line from Brad Pitt where he says about bunting, those are outs right there. They're giving you outs. Just take it and say thank you and throw them out. We're perfectly fine with it. You give up a run, we can make it up later. Here, those are points right there. Those points are just there, right there. You can take them. They're free. All you got to do is kick it through the uprights. We have a good kicker who's getting paid $15 million a year who could have done that. Instead, they don't do that. I don't get it. It's right there. This is coaching in the NFL now too. This is not just a Shane Steichen issue. But just not good. Not good from the Colts. Buffalo, this was a great spot for Indianapolis to come in and just steal a win from Buffalo. They basically just wrapped up the East against Miami in a very close one, emotional game. They're looking ahead to the Chiefs. They really looked like it was going to be a big trap game. They kind of sleepwalked in here. They went up 10-0, but they let us back in. And then that going for it on down, just all that shit, we just gave it to them. We gave the win away. Josh Allen, he did have like one really big play at the end of the half. He hit Mac Hollins just down the field, wide open, with a few seconds to go to move him into field goal range. But just this Colts team is it's just a clusterfuck right now. And, I still think they shouldn't play Richardson until New England. You're going to see 2 really tough defenses in New York and Detroit the next 2 weeks. You want to talk about Richardson's confidence? He's already talking about how being benched a couple weeks ago was good for him, how it was good for his career. You sit him for another 2 weeks. You get to see him. Let's say you lose both these next games against the Jets and the Lions. Your season's done. He gets to come in with no pressure against a not very good Patriots team with a chip on his shoulder from hearing all these Colts fans say his career's over. All right? He can go in, no pressure, all the aggression in the world with him, and he can fuck up as much as he wants. This is a perfect opportunity to learn. Even if you win the next 2, you can say, all right, Anthony, we're going to go in, see how you do in the first half. If you play well, we're going to keep you rolling. We're going to keep rolling with you. So I'm very disappointed that they went to him now. I feel like you've already committed to the Joe thing for 2 weeks. Really not going to make it up in the next couple of weeks. I don't think you're going to really, you're going to be at 6-6. You haven't really looked very good. Joe hasn't looked good. Richardson, you're getting about the same production out of each of those guys. It's just kind of in different ways. You're not really getting a lot of pass production out of Richardson, but you're getting more pass production out of Flacco in comparison. It's not good either way. I'm not saying Flacco's production was good. But the run production is a little better when Richardson is on the field, about 60 yards difference in rush yards. You also have to give the ball to Taylor. That's the other thing. You can't get rush yards if you're not giving it to Taylor. And that's the thing that they've avoided, which probably does hurt. So all in all, this was a horrible game to watch. It was so sad. It was just, you could see there was fight there. People are booing the team in Indianapolis. I don't agree with that. Don't boo the team. Just don't go to the games. Don't give Irsay your money. That's where he's going to feel it if you're going to, quote, hate on the team, But
boo the coach.
Yeah, not good.
Not
good, John.
The point you made, I mean, you got to feed Jonathan Taylor. In a close game, you run the ball. I'm not a football coach, but I know in a close game, you run the ball. But all the metrics.
I'm not a football coach, but I know that you do what works and you keep doing it until they stop it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you should do. And that's what Shane Steichen doesn't do. He just gets cute. He's like, oh, we've done it so much and it's worked. Well, they're going to start to catch on. So he's trying to get ahead of it. But that's not what you do. You wait until they consistently stop you. And then you say, okay,
when they load the box and they stop you and you see them bring the linebackers and the safeties down, then you throw over the top. But I hate abandoning the run game. It's one of the things in football in today's game that bugs me the most is teams don't want to run the ball because passing is exciting and you score fast. And the Chiefs do that. The Chiefs don't get away from the run game. And the whole league should have figured out that the only way the Ravens lose is when they don't run the football. The best team in the NFL, when they don't run the football, they lose. I shouldn't say that. I think the
Ravens do that as well. They go away from the run and they lose.
The best team in football, yeah.
Oh, the Ravens. You think the Ravens are the best?
I think the Ravens are better. I think if we play the Ravens again in the playoffs, they're not going to throw the ball.
I think the Detroit Lions are playing the best football right now. I think the Kansas City Chiefs, until they tell me they're not, they are. If you have not lost in the calendar year, you are the best team in football. But maybe you might not be playing the best football, but you're finding ways to win. And it's not like, oh, they're just doing it against weak opponents. They did it in the Super Bowl. They did it in the AFC title game. They did it in the divisional round in the -5 degrees. So they are, and that's a perfect lead in to Chiefs Broncos. You guys just the Breaking Bad meme. You can't keep getting away with it, but you do. You just keep getting away with it. It's disgusting, and I hate you for it.
I love it. Makes me very happy. So my father was celebrating his 70th birthday at the game. He was at Arrowhead watching the game. By the way, my father, who is like an elite jinxer, I knew he calls me, I'm walking into Arrowhead right now. I'm like, we're going to fucking lose this game, dude. Because he is a jinx. And when they lined up for that field goal, I was like, you son of a bitch, Scott. You're losing the game for me. And lo and behold, he didn't lose the game for us. We won the game. And I heard an interesting interview with some of the special teams guys. The Chiefs players talk field goals. When a team lines up against them for the field goal, I've never heard of guys do this. George Karlaftis, Leo Chanel, those are starting defensive players. That's our starting edge rusher. That's one of our starting linebackers. They talk to each other. Hey, this is how they're chipping the outside. This is what they're doing on field goals. If we need to block a field goal, this is the gap we hit. And it's just an organization that expects and demands perfection. They expect and they demand when a situation comes up and we need to make something happen, we have to make it happen. And that's just why you can't count the Chiefs out of a game. If we have 4th and 12 on a play, we need to win the game on that play. We're going to make the play. And that's just what I've learned. That's why I barely even care about regular season games anymore. And that is my diagnosis for the Chiefs' issues on offense. Outside of Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and Isaiah Pacheco being injured, I think Mahomes and company just say, hey, let's just get to week 15, and then we'll flip the switch and turn on, which is what we did last year. They are going to turn on.
I've heard the same thing from Pats fans. And obviously we compare those two dynasties and those two teams together. I hated the Pats. I had a reason, Manning and Brady. That was like the big rivalry. And as much as I hate to say it, and it's gross that I say this, I don't hate you guys. I can't. Because, I mean, like, let's be honest. The ref thing is so overplayed. It is so tired. I heard it. I probably said it for years with the Patriots. Now we see it with a new team. And you know what? I think I see it as a little bit more of an adult where I look at it with these clearer eyes. And I'm like, listen, yeah, maybe you guys got that. And I've ref before too. So I think that probably did help. I've like, yeah, you guys get some calls. You do. Like, I don't think you can deny that where you guys do get the benefit of the doubt. But that's what happens when you have human refs, right? Because human refs are going to give the benefit of the doubt on a lot of things. Two, you guys know how to let's say abuse the rules. I don't think that's the right word, but like do it, starting early on every single snap. That's just gaming the system. And you know what? Any other team can do it. So why aren't they? Like, you guys just, I feel gross doing this because it's not the Colts. I don't like saying good things about teams that aren't the Colts, but I can't really hate you guys. You don't have like some sort of scandal, some actual like physical, like, oh, they're cheating. Like, you can point to it, like the Spygate thing with the Patriots. It was like, all right, well, that's an actual thing that they got punished for. Deflategate, if we're gonna, as a Colts fan, if we're gonna call that what that is, like, come on. That was bullshit. I think that
Brady
was
could have been throwing a beach ball in that game, and they were still going to beat the Colts in that game.
They literally scored more points with the inflated football. They destroyed us with the inflated football. They were like, we were in it in the first half with the deflated football. So that is like a non-issue to me. Even though he got suspended, and it was hilarious to see him get suspended and him have to finally have his day. Then it emboldened him to just be a fucking asshole and tear the league apart again that year. So I just can't hate the Chiefs. I see greatness, and it's like, fuck, man, I wish I had that for my team, but I'm not jealous enough out of it to be like, I hate you guys for it. Because it's like, I got another buddy who's a Chiefs fan. I watched you guys blow the wild card lead in 2013 with him. I watched him literally sit there when you guys were up 28 points, be like, it's not over. It's not over. While me, probably 9-10-year-old kid, crying because I'm losing in the playoffs. And then I watched us come all the way back. I watched you guys just make mistake after mistake after mistake. So I can't hate you.
We had the best defense in the NFL that year.
I remember. I can't hate you.
I was working at BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. I remember every moment of that. Now on the ref thing, yeah, we get calls. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
If for my baseball people out there, you watch Juan Soto taking at bat, and every umpire in the league knows Juan Soto has the best eye. And you see calls that are borderline, and the umpire goes his way. If he took it and steps back and does his thing,
yeah,
the ump calls a ball because he knows. If there is a play where something goes wrong for the Chiefs, I think the refs just assume, something must have happened there because Mahomes doesn't miss someone that bad. And he gets the pass interference. And it's that constant execution over the last 5 years of his career that sort of gives him that advantage, that edge.
You get it is the human aspect to the game where if you don't like it, well, that's sports for you. That is what makes sports great, is there is a human aspect. Sometimes you're just going to get fucked. I've watched the Colts get fucked plenty of times. Last year against the Browns, they got fucked on a pass interference in the end zone that basically won the game for the Browns. But you know what? We would have won the game if Gardner Minshew didn't take a sack, or if they didn't call for a pass play on our own 2-yard line, and Gardner Minshew had to take a sack and a safety. People don't see those mistakes. Like, everything affects it. The interception that you threw in the first quarter, yeah, you might not be thinking about it right now, but that turned into points for Kansas City, and then you wouldn't have had to deal with it now asking for a penalty. If you know the refs are on your side, or on their side, don't expect them to do anything different. You just have to go into the game assuming the refs aren't going to help you, and maybe you'll win, maybe you won't, but I don't really think I don't think it's that. It's just, it's
you have to play mistake-free football to be the Chiefs anyway. Period.
If they're the best team in football and they haven't lost, yeah. Like, if you're the Super Bowl champion, you're kind of expected to. If you're playing them, you're expected to do that. And every single game you guys play is the game of the year for the other team, right? Like, I think we all know that. It's the Alabama effect, where you have to play mistake-free football, and sometimes teams just aren't good enough to not play mistake-free football. We haven't seen that yet, but I mean, who have you guys played this year, anyways? Like, have we seen those besides the Bengals, which they're kind of iffy?
We beat the Ravens.
Oh, the Ravens, week 1, which people are now saying that he wasn't out on
he
that
was
on that
absolutely
play.
out.
His foot was definitely out of bounds. I don't know why we're saying that.
And
that's crazy.
It was. I mean, it was by that. I mean, an inch isn't a lot, but it's more than enough to see. He was absolutely.
Well, there's literally a definitive line to tell you where he's out and where he's not, and he crossed.
It's not a guessing game.
Yeah, so he crossed the line. Yeah, so you got the Bills this week, which we'll talk about that a little later. You got you guys got a gauntlet. You got the Bills and the Panthers, the undefeated in the last 2 weeks Panthers. And then the Texans in December on Christmas or on Saturday. Yeah, because then you have the Christmas Day game against the Steelers. Big game as well. So you got a few big games coming up. It's going to be a real test. I think that's going to be the real test here. And then quick on the Broncos before we move on. We've taken a lot of time talking about these games. The Broncos have a little bit of they've gotten out of this. They got to beat Atlanta to have a chance at the playoffs this week. They do have Atlanta coming up. And then Cincy and you guys to end the year if they can get a little revenge at home. They got to win one of these 3 games. They've lost the last 2. They got their shit kicked in last week, and then against you guys they kept it close. Maybe they can beat a quality opponent in Atlanta.
I don't believe it.
But let's move to Atlanta against the Saints. The Riz is enough. I don't think I've ever seen the Rizzler and Darren Rizzi in the same room together. I give the Saints 5 booms. But on the boom scale, I give them 5 booms for this win. Darren Rizzi had him ready to play. That's what I love about interim coaches. I think I said it last week, or maybe I didn't believe in them, but I just love.
Yeah, you said coaches. I remember you saying the new coach bump. So
especially special teams coaches. When special teams coaches come in, they have like an extra oomph because special teams coaches are just awesome. They're always like psychos who just love football, like the fundamentals of football, the crazy shit about football. That's what they love. And he introduced stretching into the Saints pregame routine, so maybe that's the key.
You don't say. Stretching so you don't get hurt?
Yes.
Is that a new thing?
I don't stretch before or after I work out, so maybe I should take on the Rizzler's advice.
It's good for you. I make my girls stretch. Coach girls basketball, it's the first thing they do. Stretch and run.
Yeah.
Wait, you're telling me the Saints, a professional football team, actually didn't stretch?
That's what they were saying. That's what I heard, that they weren't stretching before the games. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe they meant like team stretching, like they didn't have like the team gather together in the big line and stretch. Maybe they just did their own independent stuff. But yeah, the Riz got it done. You have any thoughts on this one?
I'm disappointed in Atlanta. I mean, I thought that was the easiest game of the week. I had zero doubt that Atlanta was going to win that game, but that's what makes football. Any given Sunday. And are the Saints going to win another game this year? I don't know. Maybe not. But
well, they definitely have the Panthers left.
I wouldn't.
Oh no, I'm sorry. They don't have the Panthers left.
I would pick the Panthers.
They got the Browns next week, winnable. They got the Giants in a couple weeks, winnable. They got the Raiders in a few weeks, another winnable game. And then division game, they got Tampa. Those are always winnable. I don't care how bad or good you are. It's always winnable in a division game. So
I know. I'll give them 2 more.
They should hope to lose though. They need Shedeur.
Yeah. Shedeur, the Saints Shedeur.
Yeah.
Saint Shedeur. That's gonna be awesome.
That wouldn't be good. Dion would just go crazy with that. 49ers Bucks. 49ers again. They don't look amazing, but they're starting to get it done. And Kyle Shanahan is really good after the bye. He's very good. I think he has like a 400 winning percentage before the bye, 700 after the bye. So this is kind of the time you expect him to hit go. You get McCaffrey back, although he was, probably pretty limited. But you're going to see an increase in his reps and stuff. And, I'm looking at the Niners as still a big threat in the NFC.
If they make the dance. If they're in the playoffs, they can go to the Super Bowl.
I think they'll make the dance. I'm pretty confident
that they're
going
to the Super Bowl again. I would way rather see them than the Lions. Oh my God. But on the Bucks, I watched that game. What a heartbreaker. I love Baker Mayfield. And Baker did everything in his power. Baker did everything in his power to try to win that game. He's a tough dude, and he's my favorite non-Patrick Mahomes quarterback.
Isn't that the Baker experience? He does everything he possibly can and still just comes up short. I mean, they lost that Thursday night heartbreaker to the Falcons. The Ravens on Monday Night Football, that one was a lot further away than the score really depicted. It was 41-31 the final, but I mean, you could really say it was like 41-21. I also had, I think Tampa to cover like plus 3.5, and they got the ball back on the final drive but couldn't score. They lost to the Falcons in Tampa. They lost to the Chiefs, obviously, on that Monday night game, and then they lose another heartbreaker to the 49ers. 3 straight of this back-breaking, like soul-killing losses. And Baker just seems like a guy who will just come right back the next week, and they have a get-right game in the Giants coming up.
They got to win one. Yeah, they need to win. I mean, Baker's just inspiring. He inspires me. Did you see the play where Bosa had
the stiff arm,
dragged him like 15 yards by his own arm through?
I actually have I have the game recap coming out tonight. For that game that will be coming out tonight. So I'm really excited for that one.
I love Baker, man. Good guy. And if anyone hasn't seen him dress up as, God, what did he call himself? Where he went undercover at the stadium for the season ticket holders. Have you seen that?
Oh, I can't remember his name. I saw it. I can't remember what he called himself.
It was so good. Love that guy. I'm rooting for him this week, and I think I picked them. I think I might even have a bet in them in our betting pool. I'm not 100% sure though. I'll
have to check. You can change it. I have not finalized anything yet.
Okay, I might put some bucks in there.
Steelers commies. This was, I mean, again, another great game. The Commanders just play good games. They play exciting games. That's what happens, I think, when you have a high-powered offense with actually a somewhat better defense. They're hopefully going to be getting Marshawn Lattimore within the next couple weeks.
It's huge.
But Russ is cooking. The kitchen is open. Business is booming. You want to give all the other sayings that they got. He's unlimited. It's Mr. Unlimited. Yeah. I'm so happy to see Russ doing good. I need to get more of the Russ memes coming at me. I need more. But seriously, the cadence was awesome. I actually watched the play live. You literally couldn't believe that he jumped off sides on the final play. You're like, oh my God, that never happens. And he did it. And you feel so bad for the guy who jumped off. You're just like, fuck, man, that's just such a backbreaker. It's such a so close. But, Mike Tomlin also saying he's a degenerate in his press conference because they asked him, would you have gone for it on 4th down? And he goes, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a degenerate,
It's tough for me because my feelings on Russell Wilson. I hate Russell Wilson. But I love Mike Tomlin. So
he's also a meme machine. He's a meme machine.
He's the funniest person ever. And is he ever going to have a losing season? Ever? Is he ever going to have a losing season? The man cannot have a losing season.
Give him the New York Jets. Put him on the New York Jets. He'll have a losing season.
I don't think
they are the spirit breakers of the NFL.
But he's spent his whole head coaching career in Pittsburgh, and he has a winning record every single year, even when he has Kenny Pickett as a starter.
Yeah.
The man just, I don't know if it's a game plan or if he has a deal with the devil, but
deal with the devil.
Is he the best coach in the NFL other than Andy Reid? He might be.
Consistency, if you want to talk about that, probably, because even Andy Reid had some really tough times early in his career. Now he's been coaching. I think he's been coaching a lot longer than Tomlin.
Forever. Andy Reid was in his 30s. He was the offensive line coach for Green Bay in the 80s. He's been around forever.
Well, I'm thinking about head coaching because I think he finally got a start.
He had some rough years with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even those there was a few years where it was really tough in KC. I mean, he didn't have any good teams, but
before pre-Alex Smith,
I think if you want consistency, I think Mike Tomlin is the number one guy you call. I think he is. It's over Bill Belichick now. I think we saw from Belichick. Because even I think Tomlin would have a winning record with those Belichick teams after Brady.
Now, I made the mistake of doubting Mike Tomlin, which I told myself in the past I'll never do. After he made Kenny Pickett look serviceable, when he went from Justin Fields to Russell Wilson, obviously the anti-Russell Wilson bias in me said, this is a mistake. There's no way. This is the wrong move. You're trying to build around Justin Fields. Why are you switching to Russell Wilson at like week 6, week 7? It worked, and he was right, as he always is. And Russell Wilson gives them a better chance to win. And at 7-2, I'm not counting them out of overtaking Baltimore. I'm not counting them out of getting to the AFC
They're in first place right now.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that they won't stay there. I wouldn't count them out of playing the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Granted, they would lose, but I think they have the talent on that team to get there. They have
upcoming schedule. Oh yeah, upcoming schedule.
Go ahead.
Ravens this week.
Loss.
Browns in Cleveland.
Win.
Cincy in Cincy.
Win.
Browns at home.
Big huge win.
Philly in Philly.
Win.
Baltimore in Baltimore.
Loss.
Kansas City. And then the fucking Bengals again. Who made this schedule?
How did they get that schedule? Well, they didn't win the division last year.
No.
So how do they have? Hold on. Did they play all of our division? Did they play Denver, Vegas?
Yeah, they did. Okay. They did the whole.
So
division.
They're just matched up against our division. That sucks.
They gave them a very, very tough back end of the year. I mean, this is one of the hardest.
I still see 4 wins there.
Cleveland is not a slouch either. I don't think anyone should think they're slouches.
I do. I think they are.
It's a division game.
Yes,
Jameis is unpredictable. Jameis is unpredictable.
He can go crazy.
You never know what you're going to get. You could get 5 interceptions. You could get 5 touchdowns and 500 yards.
But does that team...
And 5 interceptions.
Is the only motivation for that team that everybody in the locker room fucking hates Deshaun Watson and they want to show out for Jameis Winston to make Deshaun Watson look like a moron? Do they have any other motivation other than, hey, let's play?
Kevin Stefanski. I think they like Stefanski. They want to win for him.
Dude, I don't know how you even get up to play knowing that you're being outpaid by Deshaun Watson. Like, come on. I mean, we're going to go into the very true allegations, but I don't know how, as a player, you wrap your head around playing for a team that is giving so much money to Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, just as and if you don't even want to talk about, we won't get into that whole ordeal. But just as a player, the production compared to the money is not even close. You got guys that are probably making league minimum at $800,000 a year, which again,
better than him. Many
people would kill to make $800,000 a year, but then taxes, you're probably making about $400,000, maybe $350,000. But yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Still, I can't understand. I think they want to do it out of spite. Spite win. Anyone watches Curb, spite store, spite wins. Spite playoff appearance. I think they kind of did that last year though. But
they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs.
The Steelers.
Yeah, are they not better than the Eagles? Like, if Russell Wilson's playing the way he is, are they not better than the Eagles?
I would think they're probably better. Philly kind of just keeps finding ways to win too.
But are they not? They're good enough to take one at least from the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
They've got to take one from the Ravens. They're going to get steamrolled by the Chiefs. But I mean, they've still got. They have 4 wins there. There are 4 wins left on their schedule. Puts them at 11 and 6. They're making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think there's, unless just things completely collapse like Philly last year, there's no way they don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way. But again, I mean, we could see this could be a mirage. This could be, just the result of a lighter schedule to start the year. I don't know. But let's move into a team that is probably did the definition of a mirage, the Minnesota Vikings. They failed to reach the end zone on Sunday. The Jaguars somehow did reach the end zone and did not win. I don't know how Doug Peterson keeps his job after this week. I really don't. He's getting testy too. He's getting grumpy. His press conferences have been hostile, which is just hilarious.
Not a good sign. Not a good sign
not a good
for him.
No.
We know what he's upset about. Like, he's going to lose his job.
And Sam Darnold kind of a pumpkin again. He did not get the glass slipper. I don't even remember Cinderella. I just know there was a glass slipper. But he's turning into a pumpkin a little bit, and I still think this is a good time for him to find his form, because at 7-2, you're probably going to make the playoffs, and I guess as long as you get in, you got a chance. They have the Titans, the Bears, the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Bears again, the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Lions. I see 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 wins. I think you can get 3 or 4 wins out of there.
Call it 3.
The Bears are a coin flip. You never know what you're going to get from the Bears. I don't think you know what you're going to get, just because they are unpredictable. They have looked good. They've looked really bad at times. Cardinals, that's a coin flip. You really don't know what you're going to get from them. They've been playing a lot of really good football lately, but
I like Cardinals.
Yeah, could that take a dip? Falcons, they just lost to the fucking Saints. They've had some unquality losses lately. Seahawks, big question mark, but the Packers and the Lions, I think, are much more definitive. You're probably going to lose those.
I could see them beating the Packers. I don't see them beating the Lions. I don't know who can beat the Lions. I don't know where their next loss is coming from, if at all. I mean, I could see the Lions running the table. I'm going to look at their schedule real quick, because I can't even think of a team that could beat them.
Yeah, well, you look at that. Let's jump into Titans-Chargers, and then we'll talk more about the Lions for the Sunday night game. Titans-Chargers, just not much to say here. Justin Herbert and the Chargers, this was one that kind of felt like the Chargers might lose, or at least the points aren't really safe here. I think it was like 8 points, but they were safe. Justin Herbert was perfectly good. He was perfectly fine. He did exactly what they needed. 164 for a touchdown, 14 for 18, very efficient. And this is the John Harbaugh way. This is just what John Harbaugh does. He finds wins. I think this is a game they lose last year against Brandon Staley. Really, they're playing against Brandon Staley and his coaching. But with Brandon Staley, I think this is one at least comes down to a field goal.
Brandon Staley might have been the worst NFL coach I've ever seen in my life. I hate the Chargers, but they have a decent squad. I want to look up Justin Herbert's stats from that game too, because I did not watch that game at all.
From the last one?
164 for a touchdown.
Not impressive.
Justin
there was
Herbert
nothing
is just efficient.
Impressive from him.
But you look at the QBR, 123 QBR, meaning he was just super efficient. He didn't make mistakes. And Justin Herbert, if he doesn't make mistakes, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. This season, he is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. 1,800 yards, almost 1,900, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, 103 QBR. He's putting up really strong numbers this year. They just don't have the weapons, and
he's not turning the ball over either.
Yeah, one interception, and he doesn't run enough to really worry about fumbles. He's not a super mobile guy. He's mobile enough. He's Joe Burrow-ish mobile.
He prefers to sit in the pocket. If you need him to run, he can go.
Yeah, let me see. I mean, who is he throwing?
I think
the
the internet's
to?
Trying to catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you got Quentin Johnson, who has really shown out. I've really liked what I've seen.
Lad McConkey, I forgot
He struggled in his first year. Lad McConkey, yeah, tight end. And you got Gus Edwards there. You got J.K. Dobbins as a weapon too.
J.K. Dobbins.
Remember, J.K. Dobbins was a great weapon in Baltimore. Just couldn't stay healthy. But yeah. So I also heard the announcers say Calvin Ridley is the fastest receiver in the NFL, which is just not true.
He is stupid fast. He is really super fast.
He's fast.
Super fast. But no, he's not the fastest.
Faster
Jalen
than Xavier
Waddle
Worthy
and Tyreek Hill are both faster.
Hill?
Yeah, I would say he's probably the 10th fastest guy in the NFL. I can think of 9 guys faster than Calvin Ridley. Hold on.
Yeah. I don't have his 40 time, so maybe he's gotten really fast as of recent, but fastest in the NFL. Let's hold off a little bit.
Dude, DK Metcalf.
Let's move to Cowboys. Oh, he is?
Dude, the Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys.
Here's how to fix the Cowboys. Here's how to fix the Cowboys. We talked about it on 4 Downs. Jerry Jones, get out of here. That's it. That's how you fix the Cowboys.
End of story. And you have so much money tied up in two players on that team, and there's nothing else. It's just miserable to watch because I love Dak Prescott. They got their ass kicked. Up and down the field, then up and down the field, and then back up, back down the field. They kicked 2 field goals. And the Eagles' defense is
they
not
were hanging
elite
in there. Yeah, they were hanging in there. In the first half they hung in there. Jerry, just put up some fucking curtains, man. Put the curtains up. I don't. What are you talking about? You have to build a whole new stadium. I didn't know that curtains were important to the structural integrity of an entire stadium.
Yeah, he's such a freaking moron, dude. And they're going to do the same thing they always do. They're going to fire everybody. They're going to hire a whole new group of people who just do whatever he wants, and nothing will change. And until he moves on, figuratively as the owner or literally, because he might do this until the day he dies. He might try to run this team forever. They're not going to get any better. And it's miserable because you're wasting Dak Prescott's career, who is an MVP caliber quarterback. I mean, say whatever you will, but he's done for the year.
You can have his frozen head on a robot.
Like in Futurama.
Yeah.
It's
going to be frozen Jerry Jones. Frozen Jerry Jones running the team. Here's the funniest game of the day. I laughed so much watching this game. Cardinals-Jets, dude, it's so funny. They brought everyone over. They handed the keys to the car. They literally fired a great defensive head coach. Good defensive head coach. And Robert Saleh, I mean, he had the defense rocking. What can I say? They put the blame on Robert Saleh, who's now where is he at now? Green Bay. He's helping Green Bay coach. It is so funny. It is so funny. This is so funny. It is hilarious. It just makes me laugh every time I think about it. I literally just posted on Threads, LOL Jets with 100 laughing emojis. I never use laughing emojis. And the Aaron Rodgers GIF, whatever. Just hilarious. It's so funny.
If I was a spiteful person, I want to go through every social media and just find all the Jets fans we're back, baby. Watch out. Here we come. Just rip on them. Dude, they suck. It's identical. It's almost an identical game to Cowboys-Eagles, but flipped. Because the Cardinals, 14 points in the first quarter, 10 points in the second quarter. The Jets weren't even in it. Never. No, the game was over by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And what is Aaron Rodgers actually even doing?
Nothing. I've always had the thought, if you take the entire NFL Hall of Fame, took a time machine and got them all in their primes, put them in jet green, not even in the Jets uniforms, just in a generic jet green uniform, put them on a field, put them in the league now, they'd go 8-9, 7-10. They would have a very modest year. And then the next, going into the next year, they'd be like, oh man, that jet green team is looking really good. They're looking fantastic. I think they're Super Bowl contenders. And then they might win an extra game. So then the next year it gives people a little bit more hope. Oh, well, they improved one game from year 1 to year 2. They can do it in year 3. They might convince Aaron Rodgers to play another a third year. What that would be hilarious if they convince him to do that.
But what did anybody think was going to happen?
Go out while you're in the
Did they think that because Tom Brady went to the Bucs and won a Super Bowl that Aaron Rodgers could go to the Jets and win a Super Bowl? The answer is yes. That is what people thought was going to happen. And I was there all along saying, no,
yes,
Aaron Rodgers will never win. He's not a winner. He fucked up and won a Super Bowl one time. He is not a good quarterback. He is a Phillip Rivers regular season stat patter that then shits the bed in the playoffs every year. It's hilarious to see what's happening because he was so confident going into this year. I legitimately think that in his mind, it was his year. It was his Super Bowl to lose. He has got all his boys. He has every single one of his buddies he brought with him. And look where we are now. You're losing to the Cardinals.
I think I'll push back on just as a quarterback. I think fundamentally, his fundamentals, he's a fantastic. He's a model of what a quarterback should look like on how he throws the ball, on just everything. I think on his game. So I'm going to push back on that as a leader. I mean, they say the players like him, but like, dude, we haven't
don't believe that.
seen we just haven't seen the leadership qualities, I guess. Like, you get your head coach fired because your team just stinks. They just stink. They just haven't looked good. Their offense doesn't look good. So yeah, that I don't love. I will say, just as a quarterback, if you want to evaluate him as a quarterback, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of the position of all time.
Here's always been my take on Aaron Rodgers. Think of 25 really good quarterbacks from the last 25 years. I mean, you could get Brady, Mahomes, Phillip Rivers, Burrow, so on and so on and so forth. How many of those guys would you replace Aaron Rodgers with? Like, would you ever say Rodgers was better in the playoffs than Manning, than Brady, than Mahomes?
Oh, he was. In the playoffs, I think him and Manning were pretty equal because Manning was like historically choke artist too. Like, let's say it how it is. He lost a lot in the playoffs. He wasn't surrounded by very good teams.
He also won 2 Super Bowls, which is double what Rodgers had. But I don't know. Rodgers has had, historic meltdowns in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're more confident in him absolutely melting down than you are with him performing well in the playoffs. And part of being like an all-time great QB is you have to show up in the playoffs most of the time. And one time in his whole career, he really put on a great run. But I feel the same way about him that I do about Russell Wilson. Overrated. Don't like him.
I don't want to spend this too negatively. The Cardinals are in first place. Congrats to the Arizona Cardinals. Clap it up.
Kyler Murray put down the Xbox controller. He stopped focusing so much on Warzone, and he's hitting the books. And look how it turned out for him. Video games poisoning the minds of the youth.
Spoken like a true educator of children. Lions, Texans, Jared Goff, those 5 interceptions, and they still find a way to win. This is the team playing the best football in the league. The Texans, you can complain all you want about. I've heard complaining about the refs. I know there was a few missed pass interference call that was just obvious. You cannot complain about the refs when you have 5 interceptions and you still, first off, that you only score 23 points and you still lose. Like, if you have 5 picks, you should be scoring 30 minimum, right?
Yeah. Am I hallucinating, or is there an instance where they went interception, like pass, interception, pass, interception, pass, interception?
There was not that often. There
was 3.
CJ Stroud opened the game opened the half, with an interception, and then 3 plays later, Jared Goff threw an interception. Okay. There was touchdown, 5 plays, interception, 2 plays, interception.
That's what, yeah. So it was split up by a touchdown, but it was like 4 interceptions and 5 drives. So that's how you lose a game where you intercept the ball 5 times, is you give it back multiple times without getting anything out of it. And I don't know how a team that's as good as the Texans are manages to melt down that bad.
They had 10 total points off turnovers. Now, one of the 5 interceptions, I'll give it to him. It was at the end of the half. It was just a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
I do remember that. That was he just threw it up and it was picked. So it was really like 4 impactful interceptions. And they still scored 10 points off of 4 interceptions. You would expect off of 2, you're going to score 10. But they punted or threw an interception. Yeah. And
good teams score on every turnover. Every turnover. Yeah. If you're a good team, you score.
Yeah. And then Fairbairn missed that field goal late to put them ahead and make Detroit either have to go for the win or tie it, which, again, a 50, I think it was like 58. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing people complain about kickers missing 50-plus yarders. I don't care. Those are fucking hard. Even in the NFL, they're really hard. And I know I think the course is correcting because 50-yarders were being made a lot to start the year. Of course, is coming back. We're going back because there was a lot of missed kicks this week. A lot.
Mhm.
Jake Moody struggled. Fairbairn struggled. Young Hoku is, again, one of the great kickers in the NFL right now. He struggled against the Saints. That's why they lost. So 50-yard field goals, I've always said it, are not easy. And I think a lot of people expect it.
Especially in a scenario where, I mean, you got to make it. Those, I mean, that makes it that much harder.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're leaving your game up to a 58-yard field goal, I mean, it's
there are
coin
other
flip.
problems.
That's on you. Yeah. You're having other problems. You're not moving the ball enough. But I mean, I think the Detroit Lions, in my opinion, the Chiefs are still the Super Bowl favorite because they haven't lost a game. But besides that, I would say the Detroit Lions are my favorite right now. And the Texans, this is the best situation for you. You don't have a threat in the AFC South. I think the AFC South is already pretty much locked up for them. Unless Anthony Richardson comes out and with that chip on his shoulder with no pressure on him, and he really lights the world on fire against the Jets, I think this is a great time for them to just figure their shit out, get prepped for the playoffs, and hopefully, end the year on a hot note. Dolphins, Rams, Monday Night Football. I didn't even watch it. I had this game. I did not care about this game. I think ESPN tried to get me to care. And I care about football. But even I was like, oh, great. LA and Miami. Cool. Two cities I couldn't give less shit about LA and Miami. I care more about New York or
Boston.
I don't know, Chicago, Boston, all of those cities, Seattle. I care more about. LA and Miami, no. Most uninspiring cities ever.
They need to set up they need to mid-season, they need to find a way to reevaluate the remaining Monday night games. Because 3-6, 4-5, as of now, so it was 2-6, 4-4. It's a non-divisional game. Not even the same conference. It's not even an interconference game. On Monday night, two teams that are...
What rivalry is there here? Is there a historic moment behind it? I think we talked about this in the last show.
Miami-LA deep-seated hatred between...
I guess, but that doesn't even exist.
No, I just made that up. So it definitely doesn't
If you want to talk about maybe rap culture, if there was some sort of LA-Miami beef, but you just more had East Coast, West Coast.
Pitbull and Tupac.
LA, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, LA, New York. But LA, that's why Yankees, Dodgers was so exciting, at least the matchup wise, because you're oh, cool. You get LA and New York, the two big cities, blah, blah, blah. This is just, ugh. No.
I don't get it. They need to find a way to say, hey, you're not playing Monday night anymore because you both are average and we could have
Are the flexes not eligible for that?
What was that?
Are they not eligible to flex those games out because they can do the Sunday night? They can flex Sunday out.
Because every team needs they need to give every team a certain amount of primetime games, and some teams are at the bare minimum, and they just can't do anything, and that's stupid because of the TV deals. Everybody has to play at least one Thursday, at least one Sunday primetime, at least one Monday, and then obviously some teams have additional.
I mean, Steelers, Commanders, and Bucks, 49ers, stick out as
way
two games you absolutely, especially not at one. You could have put those games at 4 and put Titans, Chargers. Well, they're on the West Coast, but you know what? Fuck the West Coast. You can still put them at 1. They just play at 10.
Wake up early.
That's it.
It's Sunday.
Yeah, that's your fault for living in the mountain.
But would you not?
West Coast.
In LA, would you not? I mean, if you're out there, you got to work the next day. Would you not be okay with having it at 10 a.m.? You get home by 6. Great. I'd rather do that anyway.
6?
Yeah.
I feel
well, if you have a little too much to drink, you hang around, you go out, watch some of the afternoon games, then head home. That's how I've always done.
I would love to experience 2 weeks out in West Coast time, just so I can wake up at 10 a.m. with football, and then you got your 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then Sunday Night Football is 4 o'clock, so you can and then you have the rest of the night to do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
But just 2 weeks, I think I would be over it after 2 weeks of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's riveting Monday Night Football talk. But
what happened? Oh, by the way,
go.
Dolphins won, and did anybody perform well?
Tyreek had a touchdown.
Devon Achane rushed for 37 yards.
Fantasy owner of Tyreek, I'm not happy with his performance this year, but whatever.
Stafford looked terrible. Even my boy Kyron Williams didn't have a great game. Puka Nacua, 98 yards on 9 receptions. Cooper Kupp looked decent. He made some outstanding plays, but
I feel like it just didn't happen. I really feel like it didn't happen. I think Superman and Lois was the big event on Monday night, not Monday Night Football.
Holy shit, did they? Yeah. They kicked 5 field goals.
Oh. Boo.
The Rams kicked 5 field goals. That's all their points. 5 for 6 from the field goal. Unbelievable. They suck.
Yeah.
And I had so much hope. Anyway, let's move on from that.
All right, let's pick Thursday night. Just give me one sentence as to why we're gonna kind of rapid fire through them.
Okay.
Commanders, Eagles, Thursday Night Football. Philly, 3.5 point favorites.
Philly, because, like you said, they find ways to win. They're going to find a way to win somehow in this game. And the Commanders are a young team in prime time. Phillies.
I'm going opposite. I'm going commies. I think after that loss to Pittsburgh, got a little shit to you now. They didn't really have like a letdown after the Hail Mary against Chicago. Yeah, I'm rolling Commanders. I trust them. They feel trustworthy now. Maybe it's just me being stupid. They feel trustworthy. I'm going Commanders. Rivalry game Sunday, 1:00. Packers Bears in Chicago. Green Bay set it a 5-point favorite right now. I don't know if Love is confirmed to play yet. Do they even need him?
No. Bears are in a slide. They are absolutely in a tailspin slide, whatever you want to call it. Packers fairly convincingly, whether or not Love is in there.
If the line grows, if Love plays, the line is going to grow. It's probably going to go to about 8, I would assume. I'm going to say I'll take the Bears with the points, but Packers to win just because it's a rivalry game. Barstool Big Cat, this is his torture every single year. So I'm really happy to see him torture. Jags, Lions, and Detroit. Detroit sitting at 13.5 favorites right now.
Wouldn't take – actually, so when I was setting up my bets today, I looked at that game. I said, Jags are the points. And I said, hold on, no fucking way, Jags are the points. I'm not taking any points on that game, but the Lions are going to win by 14.
Yeah, I think the Lions are. If you're doing money line, the Lions are the one. They are the one this week.
It's the easiest
because there isn't always like that guaranteed spot. But the Lions, this one feels like a guarantee. The Jaguars, it doesn't feel like they do that thing where like really bad teams will come in and beat a really good team.
No, they lose.
It feels like their franchise never does that.
Yeah, they play bad.
If they did it to the Colts, we weren't even that good. Like when we lost in 21, we weren't the best team in football. The Lions playing the best football right now. I don't see a way the Jags win. 13.5 might be a little bit much. They get paid to play too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just scares me, those big lines. Vikings, Titans, Minnesota, -6.
I don't like that line, but Minnesota's going to win that game. I don't love the line. I would take them at 3.5, but no.
Yeah.
I think they might win by a field goal, but no, they're going to win that game.
I'll roll with Minnesota too. Raiders, Dolphins. Dolphins are 7-point favorites right now in Miami.
I would take Dolphins and the points. Dolphins win that game. They need to win. They need it.
Yeah. This is they're in Bengals territory. Kind of. I think the Bengals have one more loss to give, but yeah, they need it. Rams, Pats in New England. Super Bowl rematch. Rams are 5-point favorites.
The Rams should be 5-point favorites, but I don't necessarily trust them. I'm going to take the Pats.
I love the Pats here. Let me tell you something. I love the Pats here. I love them. I feel like a West Coast team coming into Foxborough too. Like it just feels weird. It's the winter's starting to hit up there. They're not gonna. I mean, but it is Stafford. He's used to it. So I'll still roll with the Pats. I still like the Pats here. Browns Saints, the Jameis Bowl. the Jameis Winston, I don't know, revenge tour for him, I guess.
It kills me. I'll take the Browns.
Give me Jameis. I love it. Yeah,
it kills me.
Oh, but the new coach bump. Oh no, I'm in a conundrum right now.
The Riz,
the new coach Riz bump or Jameis. I don't know. Is Jameis stronger than the Riz?
Yes, his legacy is so long and so storied. I will take the Browns in this game, even though it kills me.
If the Saints, it's at the Caesars Superdome. If the Saints bring the Rizzler out on the sideline with Darren Rizzi, I will pick the Saints to win every single time. But if not, if the Rizzler is not there, if I can't make it through this sentence, if the Rizzler is not there, the Browns will win with Jameis.
Yeah, I agree.
That was the worst sentence I've ever said in my life.
Hey, I'll ask my 7th graders. How do they feel about it? They know all about it.
Colts, Jets in New York. The Jets are coming in at 4-point favorites.
Colts by 50.
The Colts, it's tradition for me to pick against the Colts, and I will continue to do that. I'm going Jets.
Hold on.
The Colts play close games, though.
If the Jets win, does Aaron Rodgers claim that they're back and nothing can stop them? No. Will he go on the podium and claim that they're still the best team in the NFL?
I don't even think a win over the Colts will give you that confidence. Big game of the week. If you are just a fan of football, you should be parked in front of your couch for this, or parked in front of the TV for this. Ravens Steelers. Baltimore coming in at 1 or 3-point favorites.
Not the game of the week. I'm taking the Steelers.
Oh, the game of the 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, the game of the 1 o'clock.
Game of the morning. I'm going to take the Steelers. I'm going to take the Steelers. Ravens coming off a huge.
With you.
I like the Steelers. Ravens coming off a really emotional win. They have that long week, which isn't always a good thing.
Yep.
People say they talk about a long week. That's not always the blessing you think.
Sometimes it's rest versus rust. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the Ravens historically, you remember when they got the number one seed, they, lost to the Titans in 2019. So rest versus rust. I'm rolling with Steelers. Lamar is 1-3 versus the Steelers.
Wait, in his career versus Russ.
Russ. Oh my God.
Rusty versus Russ.
Oh.
Yeah, it's meant to be. I'm taking the Steelers.
Going Steelers too. Falcons, Broncos, Denver. They are 2.5-point favorites. Is there some sort? This feels like some sort of rivalry game.
No, and I looked up the injury
history.
I looked up why the Falcons would be not favored, and I couldn't figure it out. And I took Bijan Robinson anytime touchdown as my player prop. I've got the Falcons because of Kirk O'Chains. He's my boy. I know that Drake London was on the injury report last week for his hip. Kyle Pitts, maybe a hamstring, but I think most of them are good to go. I've got Atlanta in this one. Talk about a momentum killer for the what are you talking about? The Broncos. The effects of that block field goal are going to linger. And for a rookie QB, Falcons by 10.
Rematch of Super Bowl 33. John Elway did take it home.
I remember.
I think it's going to be close. I don't think Denver's going to... Again, I don't understand how Denver is a favorite here. I would take Atlanta plus 2.5 like all day long here. Mm-hmm. Even if they lose, they're going to lose close. I think it's going to be very close. The Denver defense is just very good. I don't think the block field goal is going to have an effect on the defense. I think it's going to make them hungrier. So, but I'll roll with the Falcons in a very tight game. Low scoring. So don't start any of your fantasy players if you're looking for points. Seahawks 49ers. San Francisco sitting at a 6.5-point favorite right now.
I don't like that. San Francisco to win, Seattle with the points.
I feel like this is going to be the one that finishes late. Like Chiefs Bills will finish earlier. I feel like this is going to be the one you're sitting like you're probably just like taking it all in from what happened in Chiefs Bills, and they automatically change and it's Seahawks 49ers and you're just like, a nice cool down game. You'll get a little bit of craziness in Seahawks 49ers, but it'll be a nice cool down game. And then the game of the week, at least the game of the 425 slate, if not the game of the week, Chiefs Bills in Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes is undefeated in Buffalo in his career. Am I right about that? Yes, undefeated in Buffalo.
They have beat us. They've beat us in Kansas City.
Yeah. Historically, I think you guys win in the regular season in KC, and then you guys win in the playoffs when it matters.
Pick a number between 20 and 45.
45.
Chiefs by 45.
I knew you were going to do that.
I don't pick against my own team. I just don't.
I pick against mine because they disappoint me every single week. So
if I was a normal, rational human being, I would take the Bills. However, Chiefs by 45. We find ways to beat good teams, and we are going to be undefeated.
I think you're undefeated. I think your undefeated will come to an end, but not here.
No,
I don't think it's going to be.
It'll be against like the Panthers. Legitimately, it will be against someone like the Panthers.
I think this is going to be one where we come out of this being like, oh my god, they actually might do it. They actually would do it, and then they're going to lose, and it's going to be like, okay, it came, it just didn't come against who we thought it would be. I'll say like in a very tight game, like I don't. The Bills are favorites, but yeah, I'm going to take Chiefs at least +2. Take that.
Yeah.
Hammer that home. Sunday night, Bengals, Chargers. Chargers are 1.5 point favorites.
I hate both these teams. Chargers at home.
Chargers at home over the Bengals. This is a must-win. This is a must-win game for the Bengals. I think they're going to come out.
What's
hot.
The Chargers' record?
6-3.
So it's not a must-win game for them. However, it's a be really good to have it kind of game for the Chargers. Yeah. I'm going to take the Chargers here.
Yeah. And then Texans Cowboys.
Do the Cowboys have to win? Do the Cowboys have to win a game at some point though? Like, are they going to? No.
The Lone Star Battle of Texas.
I am not high on the Texans recently, but they're going to beat Dallas.
They'll beat them by 5.
5?
I think they're going to beat them.
Lock
by 5.
it in.
I'm going to lock it in. I actually haven't given my upset of the week. I'm supposed to give an upset of the week since some of them have been right, but it has to be some crazy upset. And the Panthers aren't playing this week, so I can't just ride them.
Who's the Monday night game?
The Monday night game is Houston and Dallas.
Take the Cowboys. Lock it in.
I can't do that. The shocking upset. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns. I'm going to go with the shocking upset of the week of the Browns over the Saints. The Jameis effect is just a little too strong.
Is that a shocking upset, though? No, you can't. Well, we can't. No, we can't do that.
I don't know. No, I can't pick the Jags. I just feel like because I don't have a lot of picks.
Absolutely not going to be the Jaguars.
No.
Hold on. Bears over Green Bay. It's a super rivalry in Chicago. Bears backs against the wall. They're Custer's last stand, except they don't all die. Bears over Green Bay.
Man, I just don't have a pick I like this week. Like Pittsburgh, it's not a shocking upset.
Seattle over San Francisco. I
guess the Patriots. I guess the Patriots would be.
That would be an
5-point dogs right now.
That's a big upset, and we both picked
that's not a massive upset, but that's a good size upset. So I'm gonna say the Pats over the Rams.
Okay, I'm changing my pick to the Rams. Rams over Pats, and then I'm changing my pick Chicago over Green Bay, and we'll see who gets the upset of the week. My upset of the week, your upset of the week.
Yeah,
lock it in.
All right, lock it in. All right, well, that's where we're going to wrap up. Hour and a half, probably, roughly, hour and a half. Good long show.
Hour and 26 minutes.
Yeah, it's complete opposite to 4 downs. We're usually just in a rush through everything.
It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, but thank you all for watching. Make sure to go like, comment, subscribe on our stuff. Spring Hill Sports on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Chaotically Intolerant on the same. Go check out chaoticallyintolerant.com. Blue Sky, go check them out on Blue Sky if you want to go check out Blue Sky. Brand new thing.
15 million active users, high engagement. I love what they're doing over there, and I'm trying to get into the kind of the sports card niche ahead of time. So that's my new initiative. We'll see you over there.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.